Another utility that you need to be aware of is IO-stat. Let's run it. IO-stat to 5. What is that? Well, with a 2-second interval, I want it to do 5 loops. And you can see that it is extremely busy. What we see here is the devices. We even have FD0, which is a floppy drive, SDA, SDB, and my device mapper devices, which is basically the LVM logical volumes. In IO-stat, we see TPS, which is transactions per second, kilobytes read per second, kilobytes written per second, kilobytes read in total, kilobytes written in total. And that can give you interesting information about what your system is doing. But what you see here, the system isn't doing very much. If you go up a little bit, you can see that the first time IO-stat has given its output, the numbers are higher. And that is because this is summarizing the activity over the last period. So this is giving you more like a generic overview of what your system has been doing at its most active moments. What we also can see in IO-stat is the average CPU usage on the system on a polling loop. Now, IO-stat in particular is an interesting utility if you have multiple devices on a server. Imagine that in top you monitor that the wait parameter is telling you that your system is spending 50% of its time waiting for I/O. Imagine that you have a server that is connected to 6 different disks and other storage devices. You want to find out which storage device is so slow. Well, IO-stat will tell you. As you can see here, all the storage devices are listed, and you can just look at the storage device with the highest performance. In here it becomes quite clear that my local disk SDA is the most active of all of them. And within the local disk I have DM-1, which is giving me the most activity of all of them. So the only thing I need to do is find out what exactly DM-1 is. As it is a device mapper device, I can find out by going to the dev mapper directory. And I do an ls-l here, and what we can see is that, ooh, that's unreadable. Let's do it this way. DM-1 is CentOS-root. It's my root volume. So that's pretty obvious that it's busy. Now, IO-stat is an interesting utility, but you will also like IO-top. It's an amazing utility, but you need to install it. I can't imagine why, but it isn't installed by default. So now it is installed. Now let's simulate some workloads by using DD and copying the entire content of the hard drive to the 0 device. We make it a background job and we run IO-top. And what we can see here is, well, the most active process as related to I/O. And you can see that it's the DD process, which is reading with a speed of approximately 500 megabytes a second. And we can also see the ID of the job, which is 5101. And that allows us to find the process that is responsible for a high workload. And on some occasions that can help pretty well in fixing I/O problems. I'm going to fix this real simple. Now the DD process is gone. And that's all I wanted you to know about I/O monitoring.